Your self-concept is going to be a product of the habits that you practice daily, okay? So, in order to make your Delulu, your self-concept, and your reality how you actually are, you're going to have to take the habits that you are practicing and your delusions and put them in your real life, okay? I just wanted to come on here and say we need to cut this Delulu talk out. I'm seeing so many videos on Delulu is the Salulu, and I'm not shading anybody because, you know, believing something and making it part of your reality is totally part of it, but that's like totally just part of it. Like, whatever. So I'm going to kind of explain to you why it's important that we should all as a collective get out of this delusional state. Let's not call it Delulu, let's call it what it is. Quit being delusional, okay? And this is coming from somebody that I'm constantly living in my head. Like, you know, up until very recently, it was rare that I went through a day and I was totally present in what I was doing. I was always just thinking about what I needed to do and what I should be doing and whatnot. But then, I mean, of course, we all know, like, manifestation or prayer or whatever, like, you can't just envision something and it happen. Like, we all know that's delusional, right? That's delusional. The way to get from your little imaginative fairy tale delusion, whatever you're made up in your head, is to actually act on it. And what happens whenever we're so in our head is we're over planning, we're overthinking. What are these people gonna think? No. You don't have to have a set plan. Over planning kills magic and creativity, okay? So, but whenever you start getting into the process of actually having an action behind those manifestations and prayers, you're going to see results. You're not going to get there unless you step outside of that delusion. So the delusion is there. You have to step outside of it into 3D. So your delusions live up here. This is the real world, babe. This is where you want things to happen. So you're going to have to start manifesting it within the 3D. And there was this girl that made a video and I watched it yesterday, and she used the term 3D to describe the real world instead of just like living in your head. And I was like, that's such a good analogy. So I'm going to use it, and I'm also going to tag her video because I really liked it, and she's going to be talking about some of the things that I'm going to be talking about. So she brought up self-concept. And if you guys don't know what self-concept is basically how you view yourself. Like how you really view yourself. Self-concept is not a delusion. It's based on truth. I mean, you see how you act when nobody's around. You know how you are whenever you're in your bedroom. You know how far your integrity goes. You know how much you're willing to put in the work. And I feel like the main key to all of this is improving our self-concept and really coming to terms with where we are right now with our self-concept. Like, how do you view yourself right now? So I wrote down a list of all of the things that I felt like made me. And it was like my hobbies, things that I like to do, things that I'm good at. And then after, I wrote another line and I was like, okay, I asked what your self-concept is, not what you like to do, not how other people perceive you. What are your core values? What makes you you? If you didn't have anything, who are you? And so then I started writing down all of the attributes that I have, like core values. But here's the thing, I like to run. That is a part of who I am, but it goes a little deeper than just running. Really think about your habits and what they are. So running, it's not just, oh, I'm a runner and that's my part of my self-concept. That could rather look like my self-concept has discipline. I'm willing to push through something hard to see results. I'm willing to put in the work. I'm sure I could think of plenty of other things that running could be broken down into. But really think about the core of who you are. And then I want you to write down all of the extra attributes that you would like to add to your self-concept that would bring you further closer to your goals. Your self-concept is how you view yourself, but it's the truest form of how you view yourself. Like, you're not being delusional with this, okay? This is real. Your self-concept is how you exist in the 3D world, not in your Delulu world. You can take who you want to be in your Delulu world, write that down underneath the 3D you, and try and mesh them together. You know, I mean, obviously it's going to take work, but nothing worthwhile having was easy, right? Oh, I literally had my iPad here for a reason. So I'm going to read you my journal entry from last night about stop living in your head and start living in 3D. So I see and feel, so I'm not just talking to you guys. This video is like for my own personal accountability too. That people, including myself, are living inside of a delusion constantly, and they're unable to make actual moves in real life. Whenever we step outside of that delusion, anxiety and fear of being perceived is at a high. So living in this Delulu state, oh, it is so comfy. It is so comfortable because in your Delulu, you have everything. You think, oh, I'm financially free. Oh, I'm beautiful. Oh, I'm a runner. Oh, this and that. I have everything I want. No, you literally don't. The bottom line is it's not real. While success is ultimately defined by how you view yourself, like you're never going to rise above your own expectations of yourself, right? So that's why I guess being Delulu is important in the first part. Success only happens when you act on those views. Being Delulu, which I hate, isn't doing anything for you. It's literally doing nothing. And if anything, I would say it's probably holding you back. So far into that delusion, you're going to have trouble acting out on it because you're going to be so consumed with planning it and making it perfect, exactly how you envisioned it, not even considering what God has had planned for you. So that'll be, oh my gosh, I'm gonna make a video like on that right after this. So while you might have great ideas and spiritual revelations from God himself, things are going to just work out for you unless you take action and are faithful with the task at hand or whatever it might be. So whenever we pray for something or whenever we're trying to manifest something, like the first part of things, the first part is the first part is gratitude, being grateful for where you are and accepting it right now. Where am I? So action and actually being who you want to be, not just thinking about it constantly. Thinking it will eventually stick and come true is just unrealistic and outright delusional, which I'm sure you are aware that by now you are, since this is the entire topic of this discussion. Think about self-concept, which I've already been talking about that. Who you view yourself to be must be who you actually are. Who you view yourself to be must be who you actually are. So here's the Delulu, you view yourself this way, here's the action. You actually are. You put in the actions to be who you want to be. Your self-concept deep down is true, but it goes both ways. You need to believe in your actions. Your actions and habits make up who you are. You know who you are behind closed doors. What's your self-concept right now, and what can you change to meet the criteria of an improved self-concept? And so that's when I went through here and I said current, and I had a bunch of things that were things that I do. And then I said, that's not the question. Who am I? What are my core values? Not just what I do. Who am I? What is my identity? Put things down like caring, teaching spirit, ambitious, outgoing, fortunate and grateful, critical thinker, but when it doesn't count sometimes. You see? That's me overthinking and being delusional with being critical thinker. Anyways, I highlighted some things on my self-concept that I really like. I want to keep those attributes. But then, since we're being real with ourselves, whenever we are looking at our self-concept, you can say, okay, I want to take this out. That part of my self-concept, I don't want it anymore. I know for myself, and I don't want other people to see that either, but we're not worrying about being perceived right now. We're worrying about our core, who we are, who you think you are, because that translates. We're gonna take some out, and whenever we take some out, what's gonna happen? Our habits are gonna have to change. If I want to be a healthy person, I'm going to have to stop saying yes to everything. I'm going to have to stop saying yes to going out to the bars every week. I'm going to have to stop saying yes to, oh, do you want anything from Dairy Queen? But I am going to start having to say yes to other things like alternatives. I could start cooking at home instead of going out and getting easy meals. And usually it's going to taste better anyways whenever I make it at home. What are you going to take out of your habit stack? And what are you going to implement into your habit stack to better that self-concept? You have to quit being delusional whenever you're in your action phase. I don't think that being delusional at first and whatnot, well, let's not call it that. Let's just call it hope of a better future. Hope of a better future. I believe in myself that I can make these changes, but be real with yourself. Your delusion is not you right now. That has nothing to do with you. That has nothing to do with the 3D world. You need to look at your habits, figure out what habits align with what you want over here. We might have to scrap a little, might have to put some in. But if you really lay it out, and if you lay out your habits, before the first time I did this, it was absolutely none of my habits were in alignment with where I wanted to go. Not literally not one habit was in alignment with where I wanted to end up down the line. Whenever I write out my habits, I see several things that are, oh, I want to hang on to that. Oh, that's awesome. Keep it up and embrace those parts of your self-concept that are helping you. I say that because you're not just going to make these huge changes overnight. You're just not. And if you try to, it's not going to stick. That's my problem for literally years. I mean, literally years. I have been on this self-improvement journey, and for a month or two, I do really good. And I feel the best on top of the world, but guess what? I went literally all out. I was not making marginal changes or whatever. That's one thing I would recommend for changing your habits in order to change your self-concept. If you change all of them too fast, soon your self-concept is going to be, oh, I can't stick to anything. Oh, I'm a loser. I'm lazy. Like, don't do that to yourself. Part of your self-concept should be compassionate. So cut yourself a little slack. Maybe implement one small thing every week. For your habits, I would honestly not recommend making a list, like a checklist of things you need to do throughout the day. One of my really good friends from here at college gave me this tip, and he said, I don't have a checklist throughout my day. What I do is I have a piece of paper, and every time I do something, whether good or bad, I write it down. I thought that was really cool because it's making it so real, but it's so attainable. Like, anybody can do that. Anybody can write down what they did in the day. And depending on what you did, you can feel proud of it, or you can look at it and say, there might be a few things that I could change, but yeah, this is my day and this is what it is. And you can really analyze your day for what it truly is. Okay, I thought of something else to say, and it also changed the frames, so maybe that'll make it a little better, because I didn't do it for the whole 25 minutes I was filming just then, but it's fine. One thing I realized is whenever you're sitting there and you're just like, whatever, like chilling, you feel like bad. Like, you don't feel good. And I was wondering, why is that? And that's because you're going against yourself and what you truly want. You're going against yourself and what you truly want. So whenever you're just sitting there and you feel like or describe it, like just like your soul is wanting to do something, your spirit wants to do something, but your body, your flesh is refusing. While my feelings are valid and I'm truly feeling those feelings of like, I just want to rot in bed and die, where are those feelings stemming from? They're typically not true, okay? Like, while they're valid, they're not true, and they're not to be like acted out on. Okay, so what are some things that you can do today to improve your self-concept and get more into the action of things? So one, I would recommend, don't sit on your phone. Set it down. Don't be on social media so much. Because I will sit on Instagram and Snapchat and whatever. Like, I could do it all day. I could do it all day. That's because I'm distracting myself from the real life, the real 3D. I don't want to be uncomfortable. I don't want to put in the work. I don't want to go to the library and study. I don't want to go on this long run. I don't want to meal prep. But I do, though. But I really do. I don't feel like it, but I would really like to be somebody that's an avid studier. I would really like to be somebody that cooks every meal. But the truth of it is, I do. I want to do it. Just because I don't feel like doing it doesn't mean that I shouldn't do it because I want to. So there's really no way around that besides it's just going to be hard. Like, it's just going to be hard, and it's going to suck, and you're probably going to hate your life for a little bit, but it's okay. Because 10 years of suffering now means 60 years of freedom. 10 years of fun and leisure now will mean 60 years of imprisonment in your own mind. Be self-compassionate while realizing where you are right now. Take action and disregard your feelings. Do what you want to do. Don't do what you feel like doing. Do what you want to do. I want to go on a run after this, but I really don't feel like it. Like sitting and analyzing this video and making fun of the way I talk and whatever. But but I want to go on a run instead. I want to go in the library later. I do not feel like doing that, but I want to do that because I want to pass these exams. I don't just want to pass them, I want to do great. So I'm gonna go the extra. And that's what it takes, guys. If your self-concept is mediocre, or if you are a mediocre person, that is going to be your self-concept. You are mediocre. The only way out of that is to change, take out those mediocre habits, and replace them with habits of working hard, being diligent, being organized, being on top of your stuff. That's going to translate to how you view yourself. Those are going to help you reach your ultimate goal. Your self-concept is dependent on the habits that you practice daily. I'm not putting anybody down for living in their delusions, not being able to act out on their actions, because that's the biggest thing for me. That's the biggest thing for me. So that's why I feel like I want to speak on it, because I've realized this, and I don't want to see you guys living in your delusions any longer, because it's sad. And I hate to see it. I hate to see you guys just sit and be stagnant. I hate to see myself just sit and be stagnant. That's why I said, okay, I have a really good revelation right now. This is a really good lesson. This should be a video. I would consider this example a delusion. So, oh, that video would be awesome. Like, that'd be a great video. That's a great idea. And then over here, I actually am making the video. Like, I'm like done with it. I'm just making a summary now. I mean, I made the video. I was about to make this video, right? The first step was to visualize. I want to make a video about self-concept and habits and how to live in the real world and the steps to get there. Idea. Me making this video, I'm in my action phase, babe. I'm doing it. Like this, it's happened. You can't just only visualize things, because it doesn't come into real life then. Make your delusions and the things that you imagine, bring them over here. Bring it over here and actually do it. It's not going to be easy. Like they all say, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right? Yeah, so I want to close with this. I want to inspire all of you to do what you want today. Don't do what you feel like doing. Do what you want. Do what aligns with your destiny. I want you to whip out your journal. I want you to make a list of your habits. Write down what those habits mean in terms of where it fits in your self-concept. Write down your goals. What little goals would help to achieve the big ones. And I want you to make a habit tree like I did. And I want you to really look at yourself for who you are, but through a lens of compassion, and say, okay, let's do it. Let's change it. Write down all of the habits that would make you who you want to be and stick to them. Don't make it too overwhelming, because then your self-concept is going to be, I can't stick with anything. Don't do that. Be humble and know yourself well enough to know what you can handle right now, but it's small changes. 1% better, right? Okay, anyways, it was fun. I'm happy that I actually sat down and filmed this video, because that's really gonna help my self-concept. Okay, well, I guess I'll see you guys in the next one.